Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We are live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about managing your stress during the holidays. The holiday season can be a time of joy, but it also can bring challenges, especially when managing the pressures and expectation that often accompany this time of year. In this episode, we will discover practical strategies to help you reduce holiday stress and create a calmer, more centered experience for yourself. You will learn 3 principles of self-care to help you stay balanced and peaceful during the holidays. Learn techniques to simplify your holiday routine and reduce relationship stress so that you can focus on what truly matters. And learn the number one mistake that can lead you to burnout and how you can avoid it. And I'm your host, Nancy Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive breakthrough expert. I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to transform your life. And this show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. But what's most important is together, let's help you create an inspired and empowered life. So let's get to it and talk about relationship stress and how to handle it during these holiday seasons. And we have Allie in the house. Good morning, Allie. And Misty asks, do you feel certain times of the year are more stressful than others? Yes, Misty, definitely. So the holiday time of year has been known to be the most stressful, or one of the most stressful times of the year. And that's because of a lot of different aspects. Now, first, let's talk about stress. What's so amazing about stress is that the stress reaction, and I'm going to get to your question, Misty. I haven't forgotten it, but I'm weaving it into what I want to share with you today. So, stress is actually something, it's a learned reaction, it's instinctive. Every animal has a stress response or reaction. And basically, the stress reactions are the most popular ones are fight, flight, and freeze. And these stress reactions are something that every single animal and human being, we all have it. When you go into fight mode, that's when you may become or feel angry or aggressive or attack or be attacked. Because I also want to support you during this episode to learn how to help yourself if you're on the receiving end of being attacked. And I'm putting it in quotes because, it may not only be physical, but emotional. And sometimes what happens is when people are stressed, they go on the emotional attack. That is fight mode. Okay. So, all of that, whether it's physical or emotional, there is that anger, aggressiveness. And that is acting out behavior. I call it acting out. Okay, I see your question, Mickey, and we'll get to your question too. And so that is acting out mode. And what I mean by acting out is that when you are having an emotion and you are in aggressive mode, you are acting it out. And when I always talk about feeling your feelings, and some of you who are regulars, you know I talk about feeling your feelings, and it's really important to feel your feelings. But when you're acting out feelings or in aggressive mode, you can hurt yourself or someone else or destroy property or the environment. And I don't support acting out. Now, do I support learning how to not or being in the journey? Yes. Okay. So it's not all or nothing, but what's really important is learning how to handle yourself so that you're not acting out and instinctively going into fight mode. Now remember, fight mode is instinctive. Okay. So then, and I'm going to also talk about the three states of consciousness of mind that we were talking about last show as well, because I want to bring that up because that's important. And that is your conscious mind is the part of you that tuned in today. So thank you, conscious mind of yours. And it is the part of you that empowers you to make empowering decisions, conscious decisions. So if you notice that you have an instinctive reaction, which is actually coming from your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time, has recorded every moment. So when you go into aggressive mode as an instinctive reaction, it's what you learned. It's a behavior. It's part of the fight, flight, and freeze reaction. It is a stress reaction. Now, the key here is from your conscious mind saying to yourself, oh, I'm in aggressive mode, or I'm acting out, or what can I do to help myself right now? And the first thing that I support you do is breathe and count to 10, because that can help calm your nervous system and your reaction down. Now, the next reaction, and then the before I go into the next reaction, your third state of consciousness is the superconscious mind. And your superconscious mind is the part of you from is that you have this higher self, a wise, unconditionally loving part of you. Everybody has a higher self, although you may not even know that it exists. But now that you're hearing it on the show, you can call upon it. And your higher self is this wise, unconditionally loving part of you. And then you have your soul, the core energy essence of who you are. And then you have your universal consciousness. Your angels and guides and beings of light are all here for you for the asking. And so you have your conscious mind that empowers you, your subconscious mind that reacts, and your superconscious mind that is there for you. And it's about bringing them all into alignment. I was talking about that last show. Now, so Misty asked, are there certain times of year that are more stressful? Yes, because what happens is during the holiday time, I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves. They put all this pressure. Oh, I got to give all these gifts. I'm going to spend all this money, or I have all these places to go to, all these parties, all these functions. I have people I don't want to see. I have family I need to deal with. So there's and a lot of people love the holidays. So, but even if it's a pleasant, fun time, that can still be stressful. Okay. So whether it's challenging or fun or exciting, any of it, if it's too much, it can lead to stress, too much stress. Or or there are plenty of people that are feeling lonely or depressed. Maybe they have lost their family members. There's grief, or there's loss, or they're feeling alone, or they're feeling lonely. And that can be someone who doesn't have family, or even someone who's in the midst of family and still feels really alone. And so that the holidays can bring up that time as well. So just the nature of them and all the different expectations. See, expectations put extra stress on you. What if you were to let go of expectation? And what if, I want you all to imagine that you were floating or moving through the holidays in a more joyful, easy, less stressful, hectic way. So, how would you do that? You would do that. You would do that by listening and being guided by your intuition. And we're going to go into that more because listening to your intuition is going to help you navigate the holidays more effectively. But first, let me get back to the different stress reactions. So you have aggression, and then you have flight. And flight is you want to hide, or you run away, or you want to avoid. That's all flight. So when you're in flight mode, you are running, avoiding, not feeling any of that. And that is another stress reaction. And in the animal kingdom, flight, you flee, you may be running away. So, in human terms, you could be hiding, you could be avoiding, you could be running away from someone. It could be any of the above. You are fleeing. Okay. So that's the other. And then the other one that I was talking about is the freeze reaction. And freeze is when you shut down and you go numb and like you want to react and you're in freeze. You're like paralyzed. Like if somebody says something to you and then all of a sudden you were like, you know you want to say something and you're like, and you can't say anything. You and then you're like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I say anything? I'm so frustrated. I want to react. I want to say something. I want to defend myself. But you go into that shutdown mode, freeze, where you feel paralyzed. And what I want you to know is that it is a very common stress reaction. And also know there's nothing wrong with you. This is about trauma. And each response, the aggression, the fleeing, or the freezing, is all a response to stress and what you learned as a child in order to protect yourself. Because stress reactions are self protection. From whether you're a human being or an animal, it is all about protecting yourself. So I just really want to normalize for you that if you have any of those reactions, it is common, it is normal. And the one that I want to support you in learning the difference and learning to recognize which one is coming up for you, and then being able to take an action to support yourself. So when you find that if you're in aggressive mode or you have someone that is being aggressive towards you, you do what you need to do to take care of you and to protect yourself. And that may be fleeing and leaving the situation. And in this case, if someone's aggressive and you need to take care of yourself, no, if they don't stop, it's okay for you to leave. You do what you need to do, whether you go to the bathroom, if it's during a family dinner or a holiday party or a social gathering, or if it's during a gathering or a family function and you need to leave the situation, you need to leave the gathering, whatever it is you need to do to take care of you, as long as you're not hurting somebody else and you're taking care of you, that's what's most important. That's what I want to remind you. Now, Mickey asked, what's the best way to work through fight or flight? So there's a lot of different possibilities to work through fight or flight. First of all, you need to become aware, are you in fight or are you in flight? That's number one. Once you become aware, like I said, the breathing, being able to take some deep breaths. Because what happens, and I've talked about this before, but it's an important point. When you are stressed, okay, what happens is your body tightens, your muscles tighten, your lungs actually contract, and you are in contraction mode. When you start breathing and taking deeper breaths, and you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's helpful to you so that you don't want to go into hyperventilation too much. You want to take it at a very easy pace. Deep breathing, maybe counting to 10, and calming yourself down. That is one of the ways that you can handle any of the reactions, fight or flight. If you're in freeze, you may not even be able to do that because you're in this frozen zone where you just need to do what you need to do to take care of yourself in the moment. So breathing is a way to deal with the fight or flight. Becoming aware that you're in it is really important, because when you become aware, that's when you can make a conscious decision that empowers you, to do something so that you are taking care of yourself. Self-care. Okay? Really crucial during this time of year and all year long. Self-care is really one of I call it essential self-care. Many of us learned when we were growing up it wasn't okay to take care of yourself. You were selfish, or it was not okay. But I am telling you that is wrong. It's wrong. What you learned, if you learned self-care is selfish, that's not true. Self-care is essential self-care behaviors that are protective and take care of yourself so that you're filling yourself up and not burning yourself out. Really crucial, really essential, and really important for this time of year and all year long. essential self-care. And we're going to get to some other things that you can do as we go through the show to help you with fight or flight. The body is a complex thing, Country Corners Gazette. Yes, what happens is the body reacts. And again, I want to remind you, I'll get to Anastasia's in a sec. I want to remind you that we we are animals. What makes us different than the animal kingdom is that we have the thinking mind, which can actually get us into trouble if we go into too much thinking mode. But the ability to think, to the conscious mind, our conscious mind, sets us apart from the animal kingdom so that we can consciously make decisions that empower us. Now, our body goes on reaction. Our body is runs on the subconscious mind. I mean, thank God, because we don't want to be always thinking about breathing or a heartbeat or any of our bodily functions, the blood running through our veins and arteries to keep us alive. And also it reacts to danger. When in caveman days, we needed the stress response to save us from saber-toothed tigers or bears or lions or whatever. And now what happens is very often, because of our society and certain times of the year, like the holidays, put us into our nervous system, go into overload, go into being so overwhelmed with everything going on that we start having that stress reaction and it becomes chronic. And that's when you really need to do that self-care behavior. Very, very, very important. Essential. Remember, hear my voice, whether you're watching this or listening. Essential self-care. Oh, Nancy said essential self-care. So I want you to remember that. What can you do for your essential self-care? And I'm going to get to another point of essential self-care after Anastasia's question. Okay, what's Anastasia's question? Can you get into fight and flight and not realize it? Yes. Because it's such a reaction and you're reacting, you may not even realize that you're in fight or flight, because it's what you've done all your life to react to danger. And I'm putting danger in quotes because it could be real danger. And if it's real danger, you act on that and take care of yourself. But I put danger in quotes because when you're in chronic fight or flight or freeze, you are in automatic. And you may not even recognize that you're in fight or you're in flight or you're in freeze. And that's why conscious awareness is so crucial, because once you recognize that you're in one of these reactions, that's when your conscious mind can kick in so that you can really take an action to support yourself, to take care of yourself, to help yourself. So, yes, you can and do often go into fight or flight or freeze automatically. Now, the key is asking yourself, if you're reacting to something, am I in the stress reaction? Am I in fight? Am I in flight? Or am I in freeze? Something for you to think about. So what do you do for essential self-care? Now, one of the most important, and I know I've talked about this before, and I will definitely be talking about it again, because to reduce relationship stress, to reduce stress during the holidays and all year round, you need boundaries. You need to learn to say no. And sometimes some of the reason why people get really stressed out during the holidays is they have all these events to go to and you don't say no. And you think, I got to go here and I got to go there and I got to do this and I got to get that and I gotta. And breathe. Take a breath. And what if you don't got to? What if you empower yourself and you start making conscious choices? Where do I choose to go? Who do I choose to be with? What do I choose? When you use the word choose rather than have to, that empowers you to make conscious choices. And that's part of essential self-care. And to make conscious choices and set your boundaries, because some people and places you're going to need to say no. And you have a right to say no, and you have permission to say no. And it's important for you to say no. No, I'm not going to be able to come this year. Or no, I can, or the other possibility is part of boundaries may not be yes or no, but it may be limit setting. So let's say there's two parties you want to go to on the same day or two places. Maybe and if you really want to be, maybe it's two families, both of the families, or friends, and you really want to go to both, but you don't know how to do it. Maybe it's figuring out the boundary where I can go to this one from 1 to 3 and this one from 3 to 5 or from 5 to 8, setting the boundaries, the limits, so that you figure out, I'll be in this place for this long and this place for this long. It's being able to figure out, to feel into, to intuit. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? And I know I just said this before, but I'm repeating it because it is your choice. And yes, there are people that you feel expect you to be there, and you feel obligated to be there. And some of those people you may choose to go because the relationship's really important to you. And maybe one of those people or some of those people, you may say, you know what? I don't really want to go. And maybe there's people you don't want to see there. Maybe you want to make another time to be with those people. Instead of being there on the holidays, maybe you do it after or do a holiday event in the new year. Like there's ways around everything. And your intuition actually can guide you to the solutions that will support you in the essential self-care that will make a difference for you. Now, one of those ways to have essential self-care is starting your day in a spiritual way. And that could be journaling, it could be inspirational reading, it could be meditating. And I created a meditation with a PDF. So even if you're not a meditator, you can still get the PDF and read through it and tune in, because your intuition can guide you every step of the way, and it can help you with decision making. Now, it's going through the process of clearing your energy, connecting more deeply to yourself, your higher self, that wise, unconditionally loving part of you, and your being able to listen or feel or sense the communication that wants to come through when you allow yourself to listen, to tune in, to receive the communication. And so I created a meditation just for you. And you can go to inspired and empowered living.com/meditation. Again, inspired and empowered living.com/meditation. MEDITATION. So it's the name of the show, inspired and empowered living.com/meditation. And Rebel, please put it in the chat. And so you can download the meditation, and really, this is a meditation that you can use now and throughout the whole year, and it can really make a difference in your life. So I really support you in downloading the meditation. So, what else can you do to release that stress? Now, it's learning to realize that there are things, okay? Now, I've talked about the expectation thing. Now, if you have expectations of yourself, I'm going to really support you in looking at those expectations, because expectations of yourself can lead you into self disappointment, and expectations of others also can set you up for disappointment. So expectations would be a really powerful thing to learn to start letting go of, and to say to yourself, you know what if I let go of expecting me to do da 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 da? Or what if I let go of expecting such and such, your partner, your friend, your child, whether it's a young one or an adult child, to do certain things? Now, listen, expectations, not necessarily easy to let go of, but it's a real freedom. It gives you freedom when you let go of expectations, because expectations actually set you up. Like I said, they set you up for disappointment. It sets you up for being angry. It can set you up for being angry. And so, what can you do to let go of those expectations? Think about it. Hand it over. Hand it over to, I'm just going to hand over those expectations. I'm letting it go. I'm choosing to let go. I am choosing to let go of expectations of myself and others. Now, is this simple? No. I'm not giving you simple, except for breathing. Breathing is simple. Once you remember to breathe, it can help you. You can even use your breath to help you let go of expectations. As soon as you realize that you're in expectation, you could say, okay, what can I do to let go of this expectation? Hand it over. Hand it over to the angels. Hand it over to God. Hand it over. So Misty asks, is there a way to avoid making expectations? So here's the thing. I think that being human, most of us have learned to expect. So the best thing is learning or becoming aware that you have made an expectation of yourself or others. The next thing is, how do you let go of expectations? It's like it's walking through the world. I guess the best way to shift expectations is to be in a state of gratitude and curiosity and wonder. So instead of saying, I expect my partner to get me da 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 da, what if you were saying, thank you so much for my family. I am so grateful. Well, thank you so much for my loved ones. I am just so excited to be with them and to have family time. And you know what? If they give me something, that would be lovely. If it happens, you know what? I'm so happy to be with them and grateful. I am curious. Let's have fun. Whatever happens, let's have fun. So, what if you were to go through the holidays with that kind of attitude? It's a change and a shift in how you're thinking, how you're perceiving. And when you have that kind of attitude, you let go of those expectations. Now, it's a journey. So you may not be able to do it right away, or maybe you're in the journey and you're able to shift it. Wherever you are in the journey, being consciously aware of where you are at will help you make the choice in how you're thinking. Again, this is about changing the way that you're thinking. What you're saying to yourself, what you're saying to others. And it's an attitude change. It's a change of living, how you live your life. And it's a healthier way of living life, and it brings more joy. And so that's what I want to support you. So during the show today, we talked about what stress is, the different types of stress, the stress reaction of fight or flight or freeze, and a couple of different ways to handle it, which is breathing, boundaries, and letting go of expectations. And so we're going to continue this for part 2. next week so that you can learn more ways, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff I want to share with you about managing your stress and your relationships during the holidays. And thank you for being here. Remember, we are live Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, my YouTube channel. And you can hear the podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, Amazon, and many more. And I look forward to connecting with you more next week. I wish you an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.